The rain poured relentlessly over the city streets, turning neon reflections into streaks of color on the wet asphalt. I was running late again, my heart pounding with the weight of fear I had learned to ignore. My brother, Leo, had a problem, a massive one. He had borrowed from the wrong people, and now the Mafia's shadow loomed over our lives. I barely knew how to handle it, but one thing was clear, they weren't coming for him, they were coming for me. That's what my informant had whispered over a cracked phone line. They want the debt cleared, the husky voice had said. And if he won't pay, they'll take what's easier to reach. I didn't know why they thought I was easier, but the thought of them cornering me made my blood run cold. I wasn't scared just because of them. No, I was scared because of her. Her name was Serena. She owned the little cafe across from my apartment, the one with the crooked neon sign that flickered open every night, even when it wasn't. Serena was captivating in a way that made it impossible to look away. Her hair fell in soft waves over her shoulders, dark as midnight, and her eyes, oh, her eyes. They were like two polished onyx stones, sharp yet warm, demanding attention but hiding untold secrets. I'd never thought of myself as someone who could fall for another woman. But there was something about Serena. Something unexplainable. Maybe it was the way she smiled at me when I stumbled through her door during a storm, dripping wet, seeking solace in a cup of coffee. Or maybe it was because she was fearless, and I envied that courage. Tonight, though, I had no time for feelings. The Mafia was on its way, and Serena had no idea how tangled she was about to become in my mess. As I approached the cafe, I felt eyes on me. Not hers, someone else's. A black sedan was parked under the dim streetlight, its tinted windows concealing the predators inside. I froze. The engine hummed, and a man stepped out, broad-shouldered, face obscured by shadows. My stomach knotted. Looking for her? The man asked, voice low and menacing. I realized he meant Serena. My heart skipped a beat, and adrenaline surged. I had to protect her. I had to. I dashed inside the cafe, shaking water from my jacket. Serena looked up, a frown creasing her brow. You look like you've seen a ghost, she said, concerned. I could barely speak. They're after me. Or, they might. Before I could finish, the man from the street burst through the door. Serena moved without hesitation. She stepped in front of me, arms crossed, her eyes blazing. You don't touch her, she said firmly. Not one step closer. And in that instant, something shifted. The danger, the fear, it all collided with the undeniable pull between us. This was no longer just about debt or survival. Somehow, amidst the looming threat, Serena had chosen me. And I realized I was ready to let her. The first night of chaos was a blur. Serena had insisted I stay at her apartment above the cafe, a cozy loft that smelled faintly of vanilla and old books. It wasn't much, but it was safe, for now. I couldn't stop thinking about the man outside, about the shadows that had been trailing me all day. Every creak in the floorboards made me flinch, every passing car felt like a potential threat. Serena noticed. She didn't question me. She just poured 2 cups of tea and handed me one, her hands brushing mine lightly. The touch sent a shiver down my spine, one I couldn't tell if it was fear or something more. You're shaking, she said softly, sitting opposite me. Her dark eyes seemed to look straight through the walls I had built around myself. Talk to me. Who are they? I swallowed hard, trying to steady my voice. The Mafia, they're after my brother's debt. But I think they see me as leverage. Her gaze sharpened. Leverage? They think I'm easier to threaten, I admitted, feeling exposed. Vulnerable. I don't know why, but I think they'll come for me next. Serena's fingers lingered on her cup, her knuckles white. Then, unexpectedly, she reached across the table and took my hand. My breath caught. Her grip was firm, protective. "You're not alone," she said simply. "Not anymore." I wanted to tell her how much that meant, but words failed me. Instead, I leaned forward instinctively, resting my forehead against hers. She didn't pull away. Instead, she tilted her head slightly, letting our lips brush, a hesitant, questioning touch that ignited something I hadn't felt in years. The sound of tires outside jolted us apart. My heart slammed against my ribs. "They're here," I whispered. Serena didn't panic. She moved like a shadow, grabbing my jacket and sliding a small pocket knife into my hand. "We'll get through this," she said. Her confidence was intoxicating. "I know how to protect us." Before I could respond, there was a loud bang at the door. I flinched, but Serena remained calm. She opened a hidden latch, revealing a narrow fire escape. "Go. Now," she ordered, dragging me into the cold night air. We moved quickly, crouching under dim streetlights, hearts pounding in sync. I kept stealing glances at her, every movement flawless, her presence grounding me amidst chaos. Somehow, in this moment of danger, I felt closer to her than I had to anyone in my life. By the time we reached the end of the alley, safe for the moment, I realized I was trembling, not from fear, but from the adrenaline and the proximity of her. Serena's hand found mine again, squeezing tightly. "You're staying with me," she said firmly. "No one's taking you. Not now, not ever." And in that instant, I understood something terrifying and beautiful all at once. She had chosen me. Not for the thrill, not for sympathy, but because she wanted me. And I wanted her too. But the Mafia wouldn't wait. The city was unforgiving that night. Rain-slick streets reflected the flashing neon lights as we ducked through alleys, trying to stay ahead of the shadows that haunted my every step. Every time a car engine roared nearby, I flinched. Serena, however, moved like she belonged to the night itself, graceful, fearless, a predator in her own right. I struggled to keep up, my lungs burning. "How do you do this?" I gasped. She glanced back, a half-smile tugging at her lips. "Do what?" "Move like you're untouchable," I panted. Her smile softened. "It's not that I'm untouchable. I just choose where to put my fear. And right now, my fear is only for you." Heat flooded me, and I stumbled slightly, catching her hand. The contact sparked a fire in my veins, one that had nothing to do with the danger surrounding us. Somehow, amidst bullets and looming shadows, desire had become an unexpected ally. We ducked into an abandoned warehouse, the scent of rust and damp would thicken the air. I leaned against a crate, trying to catch my breath. Serena crouched beside me, her eyes scanning the darkness, calculating. "They'll come for us," she whispered. "But I have a plan." I looked at her, awed. "What plan?" She traced my jaw with her finger, gently, almost reverently. "We fight smart. Not hard. Let them underestimate us." I could barely focus, my mind tangled between fear and the way her gaze made my chest ache. I don't even know if I can do this," I admitted, my voice breaking slightly. "You can," she said firmly. "Because I'm with you. And I don't let go." Her words were a lifeline. I wanted to believe her, to cling to her, and when our eyes met, the world outside that warehouse ceased to exist for a fleeting heartbeat. Slowly, she leaned closer, and our lips met in a kiss that was urgent, desperate, yet tender. It wasn't just passion, It was a promise, a silent vow that no matter what came, we would face it together. A sudden noise, a door creaking in the distance, snapped us apart. The reality of the Mafia's pursuit slammed back in, and adrenaline replaced the warmth of our stolen moment. Serena's hand found mine again, her grip a steady anchor. "Ready?" she asked, her voice low, fierce. I nodded, gripping the knife she had given me earlier. "Ready." The first thug appeared, silhouetted against the dim light. Serena moved like lightning, sidestepping him, sending him sprawling with a combination of agility and precision. I followed her lead, my fear giving way to a strange exhilaration. Together, we were a storm, unstoppable, dangerous, united. As the night stretched on, we fought, ran, and hid, the line between terror and desire blurring. Each brush of her hand, each protective glance, made my pulse race. I realized something I hadn't admitted even to myself: I was falling for her, completely and irrevocably. The city never slept, and neither did the danger that followed us. After that fleeting moment on the rooftop, Serena and I disappeared into the underbelly of the city. She had contacts, people who owed her favors, people who respected her in a way I didn't yet understand. That was when I realized Serena was more than a fearless cafe owner. She was someone who commanded loyalty and respect, someone the shadows themselves seemed to fear. We holed up in a safe house, a nondescript loft with reinforced doors and windows. Serena set up makeshift surveillance, monitoring the streets below. Every sound became a signal: a passing car, the creak of a floorboard, the whisper of the wind against the building. The tension was unbearable, but the closeness between us was undeniable. "You're different from him," Serena said suddenly, breaking the silence. I looked at her, confused. "Different from who?" "My brother," she said, her dark eyes meeting mine. "You're not just afraid. You care. You fight. You feel." He only ran, only thought about himself. "You're not like that." Her words hit me harder than any bullet ever could. I felt exposed, vulnerable, yet comforted. I can't let them take me, or him," I whispered. "I have to protect him." Serena stepped closer, her presence overwhelming. "Then let me help. Let me protect you." Her hands brushed mine, lingering longer than necessary, sending shivers down my spine. I wanted to tell her how I felt, but words were impossible under the weight of fear and desire. Instead, I leaned into her, letting my forehead rest against hers. She closed her eyes, letting out a soft sigh that mirrored my own relief at having someone to lean on. But safety was fleeting. Later that night, we heard the telltale hum of engines below. The Mafia had tracked us again. Serena's jaw tightened. "They're bold," she muttered. "They think fear can make you yield. But fear is only a tool. They don't understand loyalty, or desire, or love." I stared at her, breathless. "Love?" In the middle of a chase, under the threat of death, she said the word like it had always existed between us. The first attackers arrived moments later. Serena moved like liquid, graceful, and lethal, using a combination of agility, clever traps, and precise strikes to keep them at bay. I followed her lead, adrenaline making my movements sharper, my reflexes quicker. I realized I trusted her implicitly, relying on her in ways I had never relied on anyone before. When the fight ended, the apartment was a mess, the attackers either unconscious or fleeing. Serena collapsed onto the couch, exhaustion etched into every line of her body. I sat beside her, brushing a wet strand of hair from her face. "You scared me," I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. She smirked, lifting my chin with one finger. "And you thrilled me," she said. In a dangerous, reckless, irresistible way. Our lips met again, this time slower, more intimate. The city seemed alive that night, its streets pulsing with danger. Serena had made a call, a name whispered in shadows that immediately changed the air around us. I realized then she wasn't just fearless, she had connections to people I could never imagine, people who owed her loyalty because she had earned it. She was a storm, and I was caught in the eye of it, helpless to resist. "They're coming," she said quietly, her eyes flashing with a dangerous fire. "And this time, it won't just be a chase." I looked at her, fear and desire nodding together. "Are we ready?" She smiled, dark and knowing. "We don't get ready. We survive. Together." Hours later, the attack came. Bullets ripped through the night, shattering glass, and echoing through the alleyways. Serena moved like a shadow, directing me, covering my movements, her body a protective shield as we fought our way toward safety. I realized something crucial in that moment. I had never felt more alive, more connected to anyone in my life, than I did with her beside me. One of the men lunged at me. I froze, but Serena's hand shot out, knocking him down with swift precision. Her eyes met mine, and in that brief moment, I saw something I hadn't expected: fear, yes, but also something unspoken: care, devotion, love. After what felt like hours, the chaos subsided. The attackers lay unconscious, and the streets fell silent once again. Serena pulled me into a deserted alley, pressing me against the wall. She brushed rain-soaked hair from my face and whispered, "You're mine. Do you understand?" I nodded, my chest tight. I am yours." Her lips captured mine then, urgent, desperate, and electrifying. This kiss wasn't just passion, it was a vow, a promise that no matter the danger, no matter the darkness, we would choose each other. I wrapped my arms around her, feeling the warmth of her body against mine, the fear of the night replaced by something infinitely more intense: trust, desire, and love. As the rain fell around us, I realized the full extent of what she had done. Serena had risked everything, fought everyone, and chosen me over safety, over her own comfort. And I had chosen her, not just in that moment, but in every heartbeat leading up to it. When the city finally quieted, Serena pulled me close, her forehead resting against mine. "We survived tonight," she said softly, her voice trembling with relief. "But it's not over." "I don't care," I admitted, tracing my fingers along her jawline. "Whatever comes, I'm with you. Always." She smiled, that dangerous, beautiful smile that had captured me from the start. "Good. Because I choose you. Every time. Even if the world falls apart." For the first time since this nightmare began, I believed her. For the first time, I let myself feel hope and love. It was terrifying, yes, but it was also real. And in the darkness of a city ruled by fear and danger, that love shone brighter than any neon light, brighter than any threat. The rain had stopped, leaving the city slick and glistening under the first light of dawn. I sat on the fire escape outside Serena's apartment, sipping a cup of coffee she had made for us both. Her presence beside me was calming, almost unreal after the chaos of the past few days. I still couldn't believe we had survived the Mafia's wrath, that we were sitting here alive, together, unbroken. Serena leaned against me, her head resting on my shoulder. "You know," she murmured, "I never thought I'd be choosing someone like this, someone who isn't me, someone who's human." I laughed softly, a sound filled with both relief and lingering adrenaline. "Human, huh? You mean mortal and terrified half the time?" She nudged me playfully. "Exactly. Terrified and mortal, but brave enough to stick with me through all of it." We stayed like that for a while, neither of us speaking, letting the quiet and the morning sun fill the space between us. But the reality of our lives, the mafia, the threats, the lingering danger, was still there, gnawing at the edges of my peace. "Serena," I said finally, my voice serious. "What happens now?" "They won't just give up. They'll come back. And I don't know if I can keep running forever." She took my hand, intertwining her fingers with mine. "Then we don't run," she said firmly. "We fight smart. We disappear when we need to, we plan, and we protect what matters. Together." The weight of her words hit me. She wasn't just a protector, she was a strategist, a force I could rely on. And she had chosen me, again, and again. Every instinct, every heartbeat told me that she meant it. In the days that followed, we stayed low. Serena's network of allies ensured the mafia couldn't find us easily. We moved between safe houses, always aware, always cautious. But even in the midst of vigilance, our bond deepened. Each touch, each shared smile, each quiet conversation became a lifeline. One night, as we lay together on a worn couch in a safe house, I traced the curve of her shoulder, memorizing the warmth and the strength. "I don't know how I ever survived without you," I admitted, my voice trembling slightly. She pressed her lips to my forehead. "You never had to. And now you don't have to anymore." It wasn't just words. It was truth, the kind of truth that carved itself into your bones, leaving no room for doubt. Weeks passed, and the mafia's presence became a ghostly rumor rather than a looming threat. Serena and I began reclaiming fragments of a normal life, though the shadows of the past never completely faded. We returned to her cafe once, sitting side by side as she served customers, laughing softly at small accidents, sipping coffee, and feeling alive. One evening, as the sunset turned the sky into a tapestry of pinks and oranges, Serena turned to me. "I know this life isn't perfect," she said, her hand resting over mine. "But it's ours. And I choose it. I choose you. Every day."